here with Joan.
That's it.
Yeah. There's two reasons here. One is I know she doesn't look it, but you're 90, aren't you?
Yes,
in a few
on
days.
Friday.
90.
Friday.
And Joan's been part of the church family pretty much since time began, haven't you?
Oh, since the early 70s. Yes.
So I thought it'd be good to hear some of your story, if you're happy to share that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Well, how did you come to the church then? When was it, in the 70s?
Yes.
Yeah. So how was? I mean, I know you just told me a few minutes ago, but it was via that must have been in the really early days. If it was Molly Misselbrook.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I was 71 or 72.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And what happened then?
Well, I wasn't well when she came to visit me, to pay a visit to see what's going on. And I asked her to call back another day, and she came back a couple of days later with an apple pie, a lovely apple pie.
Yeah.
You know, my kids loved it. They thought it was great. And she came in and had time with me, and I felt quite warm towards her. And she invited me to go to the church. And I went up to the church in the following week, and I enjoyed it. And I felt so warm when I got in there. It was so warm and welcoming. And
So
I'd been to St Andrews prior to that, and I didn't feel a thing for weeks and weeks. I just didn't feel anything.
that was a long time ago. It's different now.
Sorry?
St Andrews is different now, isn't it?
Oh,
That's a long
yes.
time
No,
ago.
this was the old St Andrews.
Yeah. So-
Trevor Misselbrook's time.
So were you already kind of looking for something at that point then, or had you always been a Christian?
No, Christ has always been in my life.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I used to go to the Emmanuel Church and collect presents for my brothers and sisters at Christmas. And I always thought Jesus Christ was the giver of the things, and that Father Christmas was just his angel giving me the presents for the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always believed Jesus was Father Christmas.
Right. Okay.
Years and years and years.
So you've developed a bit more in your thinking.
That started me up.
So I guess it was that generosity then of God that you saw.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So when you joined the church, I mean, I think back when I first arrived, you were still you were working as the church neighbourhood worker, and you'd been doing that for some time, hadn't you? Even then. So you were part of the church, and then you got the job as the neighbourhood worker.
I was a member of the church. I was a deacon of the church, and I was working in the factory, and the factory was killing me, as the minister told me. Andy Bruce, he said, it's killing you. And I was always exhausted.
Yeah.
And then he had a word with people like the Dorothy and Stuart Greenbank and a few more. I don't know who involved, but they decided to set up a fund so I could leave the factory and go and work out in the community. And that's exactly what I did.
Because there's legends of you cycling around, isn't there? In your blue anorak.
Yeah, that's right, on the blue bike.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that's always struck me about you is that ministry of, because you know everyone and everyone knows you, and I don't know if that was the case before you got the job as a neighbourhood worker. I suspect you knew everyone beforehand because
council.
Yeah. So you're on the Chelmsley Town Council.
Oh yes, I was elected there in 1970. And Lewis Misselbrook, he was the first minister. Trevor Hextall from St Andrews. And what was his name? Elvis. We used to call him Elvis. Alan Priestley. They were St Andrews ministers. They decided we needed a town council. Well, it was a parish council then. They decided we needed a parish council.
Yeah.
So they got together with a few people and decided to form a parish council. And I went up to the polls and was duly elected.
That's good, because the town council's still going. I mean,
yes.
It's been through a lot of changes, hasn't it?
Yes. Well, I was mayor of town council in 1983.
So you've always had a real heart for the community, haven't you? And,
yes.
And more than that, you've had a heart for people, I think, and that's what it's about.
I do care.
And when I came, that's what I remember. You know, you're like, what about this person? And you'd say, this person needs prayer. You kind of knew everything that was good. Well, you still do, actually.
Not as much as I
Well,
used
maybe
to.
not as much, but you still know, and you still care about people.
Oh, I do care tremendously about people. It's like, when the doctors wanted to send me to the hospital because my kidneys are failing now, talking about dialysis. No, there's younger people need it. I don't need it now. I'm too old. The younger people need it. They've got a lives to live. Let them live it. I come second. Everybody else comes first in my book.
Well, I wouldn't. I'm sure you should take the medical advice of your doctor.
No, I haven't done. I haven't done. And
No.
it's too late now anyway because my heart's going so. But there we are. I'm quite happy. Christ has got me this far, and
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, you are one of the kind of legends, I think, of our church. I'm not just saying that. You are. You're one of the kind of founding, one of our ancestors. You know, I think, because you were there pretty much at the start of the church. There's a handful of people left that really laid the foundation for what we are today, I think. And I think if people like you hadn't believed in the community and the people and worked to do that, our church wouldn't be what it is. It'd be something else. But the church, it's known for its heart for the community, the work it does. And that's because of those foundations, I think, that were laid back in those days, you know.
Oh, well, that was when Noreen and all them was involved.
Yeah.
That was lovely. They were lovely people. And that's when we set up the luncheon club.
Yeah.
Tuesdays and the Fridays. I used to do, Ruth Hitchman did the Fridays, I did the Tuesdays.
Ruth Hitchman, another hero.
Another one, yes,
Yeah.
another one, yes.
I remember the lunch clubs, because when I started, I'd get in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they'd put the Brussels sprouts on then,
That's
just so they were soft enough by lunchtime.
Well, I wouldn't have put to that one. But, yeah.
That was good, and that has now evolved into the cafe,
That's
hasn't
right,
it?
yes,
You know,
yes,
it's
yes,
because
yes.
times change, don't they? And things like lunch clubs, I don't know if there's many running now, but things evolve and change, don't they? And we're just, if not busier, with the cafe now, and we provide that kind of hospitality
That's
and welcome.
good. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. It gets the church known as well,
Yes,
and that's
and
important.
it's been great to see that. So what changes have you seen then in the church over the years? I know it's been a while, hasn't it?
I know, but
1970
some of the changes have been astronomical, because when we first started with the church, we had windows here, there and everywhere. And this one time, we were without a minister. Our ministers are gone, and we were without a minister, and there was me and Noreen, who's a deacon, and we were trying to do our best to keep going. And this one time, I had a phone call from one of the ladies who lived in the Mews flat saying, "Joan, they're breaking the windows of the church." I flew up there, got the police up there. 17 windows were broken.
Right.
And I had to get Tom Wren out, who was one of the members of the congregation, and Jim Smith, and they were having to board up. And I stayed in that church 2 nights running. I don't know what I thought I could do, but I stayed in there protecting the building because the police was, what was his name? Yes, Andy. He was lovely. He was a lovely local policeman, and he kept his eye on the building.
Yeah.
And he was sort of, saying, "Joan, you don't have to do that." I said, "But I want to do it. They're not going to do it again. I'm not going to let them do it again." And this is how we went on. But we survived it.
We did.
And then you came along, and look at the change in the building. It's absolutely wonderful now. I felt at one point we were dying. We were dying. And then this young group of people come in the building, and we began to climb up again. And here we are today. Wonderful, absolutely.
Well, I think God's done some fantastic stuff with us. We have, even in my time, there's been ups and downs, hasn't there?
Oh, yes.
Well, there always is. That's life, isn't
That's
it?
That's people.
But there's been a definite direction, I think, that God's taken us all, and I'm proud to have been part of that story, because people do say, "Well, since you've been here, this has happened and that's happened." Well, that's true, but that's only happened because of what went before. And one of the reasons I came to this church is because that real compassion and desire to serve God in this place and with these people. That's what drew me to it. I mean, as you can imagine, when I was fresh out of college, then there was lots of churches around. I mean, they probably wouldn't have had me, but anyway, this one did. But this is we looked at a few churches, me and the friends that were looking, and we all said this is the one, because of its real involvement and its heart and the people that are in it. And God's used all of us over the time.
I believe He has held us tight. He held us tight.
And we've seen some amazing things happen, I think.
Oh yes.
So it's been a great joy. I think we were talking earlier about there's new people coming in. The church keeps growing, doesn't it? There are times when you feel you're getting nowhere, but seeing new people coming in and people's faith growing.
It is. It's nice. It's nice to see that people are coming in and feeling as well, and that's the important thing. I've been that young couple I've just mentioned. I forget the names you told me, and I was talking to them, and they've only been coming a few weeks.
Yeah.
And they really enjoy it. They really do. We had a good old conflab, you know.
Yes.
So it was nice. It was really nice.
I think one of the things is people can talk in our church, and I think partly, and this is one of the gifts you have, is of plain speaking.
Oh, I'm afraid I am. I am, unfortunately.
No, I've been on the wrong side of that myself over the years, but I appreciate it.
I know, but
I don't like it at the time, but that plain speaking is
if
good.
You can't take it, don't give it. Well,
That's
give
right.
it and I can take it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think we should. And nobody's better than anybody else. I don't care who you are or what you are. Money doesn't play a part. We're all born equal, and that's what we are. And we make the best out of what we've got in life.
And I love that blunt, down-to-earth approach to it all, because you can dress it up and be polite and not actually say what you mean, but that doesn't get you very far.
It doesn't. It's false. It's false.
Yeah,
Don't be false.
People think they're protecting everyone and being gentle, and there's a time for gentleness and kindness.
Oh yes, I've got to agree.
You don't have to be unkind, but you can be.
Well, I don't feel I'm
down
unkind.
to earth. No, I don't think you are.
No,
but sometimes people think, well, it wouldn't. You shouldn't say that. But I think being open and honest, actually, because you're opening yourself up to others as well, aren't you?
That's right.
If you know what I really think, then I respect what you say and you respect what I say.
That's
if I don't ever actually tell you.
No, this is me.
Yeah.
Take me or leave me.
We'll have you. We'll take you.
The Lord
we'll
takes me. He takes me. He loves me.
Yeah.
He loves me, and I love him tremendously. I wouldn't do without him. I couldn't get up in the morning without him.
I was going to ask you about, in terms of your own faith then, how do you feel God has guided you through the years, and now where are you? Where do you think you stand in terms of your faith?
Where has he guided me over the years? Without the Lord on my side, I tell you, I don't think I would have survived half the way I've got now, because of the terrible upbringing I had.
Yeah.
All the abuse as a child. And I had to get over that, and I prayed the Lord would take it away, and he couldn't come down and punch him. That's a terrible thing to say, but he couldn't. And he gave me the courage to talk out loud to one of my aunties.
Yeah.
And I spoke to one of my aunties, and we went further from there. And that's it. And then one day, John Bays was the minister then, and he was saying that, you really have to give your heart all the way to the Lord. You've got to be able to forgive people if they do anything against you. But I had to forgive him. So I got my brother to take me to him in Gospel Lane, where he lived in, Green or whatever it was. And anyway, he took me there, and I went up to my father face to face, and I said to him, I don't like you at all. I said, you're not my father. I said, but the Lord said, because I love him so much, I've got to forgive you. I don't like you, but I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
I said, and that's my father. That's my father. There's my father up there. You are not. And I walked out the door, and I never spoke another word to that man. Never spoke another word to that man. Now, that's what the Lord did to me. He gave me that. And,
yeah.
and the Lord's been by my side every day since then. He's given me the strength to do a lot of things that I wouldn't normally have done. I wouldn't have gone on the town council.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have.
See, I find that hard to believe. Knowing you as I know you, I'm thinking you'd do anything. You'd take on anything, anyone.
Well, maybe.
You would. Well, I think it's because of your faith, isn't it? I
was just going to say, it's only because I'm strong with God that I feel I can do things.
Yeah.
When I fell off my bike in the middle of the road and the cars was coming at me, it's only him that helped me to get the bike out of the way. No, without the Lord, I couldn't get up in the morning. And I give God thanks every night for getting me up in the morning and keeping me safe. And he's wonderful. He's playing a big part in and that's why I'm desperate on the Sunday morning to get to my church. That's my home. That's my home.
Yeah.
That's the way I've always believed it.
Yeah. And that's the dream, I think, that our church, like other churches, can be a home where people find sanctuary and healing and joy
and love,
celebration and love.
Because there's not much in the world, unfortunately.
No.
It's just being killed off, and it's sad. It's sad. We need to show love. We need to show love lots and lots, as many ways as we possibly can.
Well, Joan, you do, you have, and you do. And,
I try to.
It's great having you as part of our church family. You are a real blessing to us, just as you're a blessing to everyone who knows you and our community. So I appreciate you sharing the time to make this film as well.
That's all
God
right.
bless you.
And God bless you too. And may you live a long and happy life.
I hope so.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure the Lord will look after you. You deserve to be looked
Well,
after.
He's looked after me so far.
He will do, he will do. He'll look after all those that are strong in faith.
Thanks, Joan.
You're
Thank
welcome. God bless you, my friend.